Hello everyone, my name is Cherime Amogus and welcome to today's video. In this video, we are going to build a simple rock, paper, scissors game using the C Sharp and WPF. So the idea is simple. We'll create a game where you, as the user, will pick rock, paper, or scissors and the computer will randomly pick one as well. The winner is determined by the rules. The rock beats the scissors, scissor beats paper, and the paper beats rock. And the game continues until either you or the computer reach 5 points. And when that happens, the game will show the winner and then reset, and allowing us to play again if we wish. So to get started, we'll first create a new WPF project in Visual Studio. So you can s- search here WPF, or I had it already on my recent project templates, but I'll just click this one and then click next. And I will put the project name to rock, paper, scissors, then click next, then create. So once the since I was able to create the project, it will show the two files, the main window XAML and the main window XAML.cs. The XAML file is where we'll design the U UI. UI means user interface, and the C sharp file is where we'll write the game logic. So let's talk quickly about the XAML. XAML, or Extensible Application Markup Language, is used in WPF to design user interfaces. It's similar to HTML but specifically for Windows application. It allows us to define elements like buttons, labels, and layouts visually while keeping them separate from the logic in our C sharp code. So this is the C sharp code. So if you notice, it automatically creates the program, but some of this is not needed. So I will just remove from here. So window is, so it automatic uh, enter the code after we create the project. And again, this is the window, which is the main window. This is the main container for everything in our app. Everything we design, like the button, text, images, will go inside the window. It's like the frame of a painting. It holds everything inside. And this means here is is the tag that uh, you open the window, and this one is to close the window. Uh, Closing the tag is important because the WPF won't understand where the windows end and the program won't work. And everything inside the program should inside the window. It's like opening a book. Everything inside is the content of that book. And this mean is that this connects the XAML file where we design our UI to the C sharp coin behind file. the main window.xaml.cs. Think of it as bridge between the visual part of what users see and the logic part, how things work in C Sharp. If we want to change the Windows behavior, like making buttons work, we'll write C Sharp code inside the window xm main window.xaml.cs. And this one here is the namespace that tells the WPF, uh, hey, I want to use built-in WPF elements like buttons, labels, and text boxes. Without this, we wouldn't be able to use WPF features like button and label. Think of it like adding a toolbox full of pre-made UI elements. And the X element is this one here. This is another namespace. It allows us to use extra features in XAML. It helps us name elements, connect them to C Sharp code, and more. Without this, we wouldn't be able to name our buttons, labels, or refer them in C Sharp. This is like an extra set of tools to make XAML more powerful. And the title, this is the this is you can see here it says main window. This sets the title of the window, and whatever we type inside the codes, it will appear on the title bar of the window. So for now it shows main window, but I want to change it to rock, papers, and scissors. So rock, paper, and scissors. So now it changed to rock, papers, and scissors. So anything we can change here in the title will also appear on the window. And the height, it automatically set up to 450 to 800. This controls the size of the window when it first opens. Um, but this time I want to change it to 300. As you notice, it gets smaller, and the width, I will change it to 525. I think it's too small, maybe 350. And I'll change it to 600. So if we decrease this number, the window will get it will get bigger, and if we decrease them, the window will get smaller. Now inside the window, we will put the grid. So the grid is the container. This is where the element where we will place all the other UI elements like button labels. It acts like a box that holds everything inside it. And this one is closing the grid tag. Just like we did with the window tag, we have to close the grid tag to tell the program that the grid ends here. Grid is very useful because it helps you organize our UI with rows and columns. We can decide how many rows and columns we want and where we want our elements to get in the grid. Now, so here inside the grid, I want to put the score display so that it will show on the window. So um, I will put here label and then name equals score label, and the content equals user 0 with the opponent 0. So if you notice, it shows here at the very top here. So the label, this is the WPF element used to display text. Um, it doesn't allow the user to change it directly. And the name score label, this gives the label a name so you can refer it to our C# code later. So for example, if you want to update the score from the code behind using score label content, and the content is the user and the opponent. The content property sets the initial text that the label displays. Right now it says user and user 0 and opponents 0. And next we will put horizon. We just don't want here to put the user, and I want to show uh display it in the middle. So I will put here horizontal alignment, and I want it to be in the center. So now it changed to the center, and I want to put that here in the middle vertically. So put the vertical alignment and then top. So I since you can also put center here, you will see it center. But since I want this doesn't look good to me, so I want to change it back to the top. Top. Now it went back to the top. And I also want to set the text size of the label. So I'll change it to 16 so that it's bigger. And I also want them to have a margin. So margin equals 0, 20, 0, 0. So this adds some space around the label. In this case, I add 20 pixel margin at the top and no margin on the other sides. And next, we will have to create a player's choice. So for the player's choice, I will choose the stack panel orientation equals horizontal, and hori the horizontal alignment should be at the center here, and vertical, I want the vertical alignment also in the center. Sometimes you don't need to enter it manually, it will automatically show up the uh, program or the code you want to choose, and it's a lot easier. And additionally, the stack panel, this is a layout container. Additionally, this is a layout container that stacks its children, like buttons, either vertically or horizontally. And now we want to put the button name. So we are now making the button elements. This represents the choice for the player, and I want to put rack button, and the content is rock. Now it's seeing now the word rock. It displays in the window, and then for us to click the rock button, we will just put here click paper button. Sorry, not paper, it should be rock button, click. This specifies that when button is clicked, it will call a method in C# named rock button click. And later we will write that, and you will see the logic, what happens when the player clicks the rock, paper, or scissors in the C# coin behind. And I also like to change the width, set it to 100 so that it's easier for the player to see the display in the window. And the margin is 10. Next, I will create another button for the paper. So button name equals paper button, and the content is paper. So now it's showing the paper, and if you notice, it's smaller because I did not put the size of the paper display. Click paper button click, so that the player will be able to click the word paper. And for easier, we can just copy paste this, and now we change the size. Next, we have to also display the scissor. So we can also copy paste and just change Instead of rock, change it to scissors. Scissor. The content means this is how it will display the word scissor. So if you notice, if there is no end statement, it didn't show the scissor earlier. So you have to put the end so that the WPS will recognize where you want to end the display. Scissors. And then just copy paste the size so that they are equal. So now the next method, I want to show the result, and it's meaning I want to show the game result. So like the previous label, we have to use the same uh, command label, and here I will put name equals winner label. This gives the label a name so we can refer to it in C# to update the result. And then content result, and then horizontal alignment, put it to center, and vertical alignment. So later, when we are going to play the program, the result of the game will show at the center, and it will show name winner. It will show the word result. The font size 18. So this adds a 20 pixel margin at the bottom of the label, giving it some space from the edge of the window. If you want to make your button colorful, um, we could put here background and what color you want for your button. Red. I think I want it red is too colorful. Maybe light yellow, or just yellow. You can choose wherever you want based on your preference, and you can also change the foreground. I like it white, which is not clear. Black. um, and I can copy paste to the other button, but change it to different color, blue. Maybe deep sky blue. And for the scissor button, I'll change it to pink. There, so it's more easier. All right, I think I'm done for the um, Windows displays section. And now let's move to the C Sharp program. All right, so we are now in the C Sharp program that will, this is behind the WPF. So let's start write the using system. This is needed to bring in some of the basic functionality for our program. It includes things like handling random numbers and using basic types like strings and integers. And next we will put here system.windows. This means it will bring functionality to create the window and user interface as we are working with a WPF application. And the namespace should be the rock, paper, scissors. So namespace is like a folder where we keep our classes and code. It helps us organize everything, especially if our big program gets bigger. And inside the namespace, uh, we will put public partial class main window. This is where we define the main class for our window. Since we're working with the UI, we inherit from window to have access to everything a window can do in WPF. And then we have to declare variable for the scores. So we will put here private int integer user score equals 0 and private int the opponent's score 0. So the user score and opponent score are integer variables that keep track of the scores for the player. The user, the player is the user and the computer is the opponent. We initialize them both to 0 because the game starts with no points for either player. And then next, we will make cons put the constructor, the main window. So the main window is a constructor. It's a is a special method that runs when the program starts. And then inside of the main window, we will put initialize component. This is automatically generated by WPF. It sets up everything from the XAML file. This is where the user interface or the UI elements like buttons and labels are linked to the code. And then next, we have to also put here the button click handles. So these are the methods that handle when the user clicks the rock, paper, or scissors buttons in the UI. Um, so let's put here private void rock button click object sender routed event args e. And then we will put play game rock. So each method calls the play game and passes the user's choices rock as an argument. And I can just copy paste here for the paper and scissors. So again, each method calls the play game and passes the user's choice either rock, papers, and scissors. Uh, why we have to use this? Because this allows us to react to the user's input. When the users click a button, the program will know what they choose and will play the game accordingly. Next, we have to put the play game method. So here we will put private void play game string user choice. So um, in this method, the first thing we do is an array called choices. So string choices equals rock paper and the scissors. So so again, we are creating an array called choices, which contains the three options, the rock, paper, and scissors. Then we create a new random object, uh, which we'll use to pick a random choice for the opponent. New random. And then string opponent choice equals choices random next choices length. This means that it picks a random element from the choices array, which is the random next choice length. It generates a random number between 0 and 2, which corresponds to an index in the array. And we show a message box show opponent choose opponent choice. So we show this box with the opponent's choice so the users know what the computer pick. And why is this important? Because the random class is used to simulate the computer's choice. Without this randomness, the opponent would always make the same move and the game wouldn't be interesting. And next, we have to determine the winner by putting string result equals determine winner user choice and the opponent choice, and message box show result. Here we call determine winner method, which will check who won the round, and we pass in both the user's choice and the opponent choice to this method. Then we show a message box with the result, which will be either you win, you lose, or it's a draw. So we have to put a statement here if result equals you win. User score plus plus. So after we determine the result, we update the score based on whether the user won or lost. So if the users win, we increment user score by 1. And if the opponents win, we will put here else if result equals you lose. If you lose, opponent score. So if the opponents win, we increment the opponent's score by 1. And the score label content equals user user score opponent opponent score. When the we then update the score level on the UI to show the updated scores. So that will show here at the top of the display. Now next, we have to check if either player has won the game by putting here if user score equals 5, winner label content would show you win. So after each round, we check if either player has reached 5 points and winner label foreground equals system dot windows dot media brushes blue, and then message box show you win the game, close game. So if the user reaches 5 points, we display you win in blue and a show a message back saying the user won the game. Then we call the close game method to reset the game, or else if opponent score 5. And if the opponent reaches 5 points, we display you lose in red and show a message back saying user lost the game. So let's just copy paste this here, and if the opponent win, we will put here you lose, and we'll change the color to red, showing that you lose. It's like an indicator. And here we will put you lose the game. And the last method, we have to determine winner method. In this method, we check the logic who wins the game. If the user choice and the opponent choice are the same, it's a draw. If the user beats the opponent, the rock beats scissor, paper beats rock, and scissor beats paper, the user win. Otherwise, the opponents win. So we put that here, private string, determine winner string, user choice string, opponent choice. So if user choice equals opponent choice, return, it's a draw. Then here, if user choice equals rock, opponent choice, scissors, and then user choice. For easier, we could have just copy paste this one here and change paper. Paper beats the rock. And then here, scissors beats the paper. Then return, the return is you win. Else, return is you lose. And it's a draw, exclamation. Because this is the end statement, so let's put the another close parenthesis here. And the last method is resetting the game. So we put here private void close game, user score equals 0, opponent score equals 0, score label content equals dollar user score opponent, then the opponent score Inner label dot content equals result. All right, so this is the last method, the close game. Uh, the close game method resets the score back to 0 and updates the UI to show the initial message. All right, so now let's test the game and see if it works. So on the display, it shows uh, the score of the user is 0 and the opponent is 0, and then it shows three different options: the rock, paper, and the scissors. And now let's start the game. I choose rock and the opponent choose rock, so it's a tie or it's a draw, so no score. And I choose paper and the opponent also choose paper, it's also a draw, so same, it's a draw. I choose scissor and then opponent choose paper, I win. Same thing, it's a draw. Opponent choose rock, I choose paper, I lose. I choose paper, it's a draw. I choose paper and the opponent choose scissor, I lose. And it adds the opponent's score to 2. I choose paper and the opponent choose again scissor, I lose. And the opponent add a score. And I choose rock, the opponent choose rock, it's a tie. It's a tie again. Now I lose. I only have one score as of the moment. I win. I win. I win. So now it's tie and let's see who will win. So I win. Now the result shows that I win the game and it will end the program. Alright, and that's the whole game. We've created a simple paper scissors rock paper scissors game where the user competes against a computer opponent, and I hope you find this video helpful. Thank you for watching.